Hello, everybody. Everyone's favorite podcast about an obscure 2000s X-Files clone from Fox. It's, of course, that's the Square, the Queer Freaklings podcast with me, the wonderful Alice Full of Water, and my co-host.
Me, also wonderful Ludovico from the Switzerland.
Yeah, Swiss icon, Ludo.
Yeah.
All the famous Swiss people. There's Ludovico. Cannot remember not the famous Swiss people. Listen.
Roger Federer.
Yeah, all the icons. Okay, let's start.
Let's go. Today we got a pretty interesting episode for y'all. There's lots to talk about. There's many interesting things. So, as always, watch the episodes on YouTube. There's stuff we leave out in our summaries and our talks.
Yeah.
So if you wanna really get into that Freaky Links, you gotta watch that Freaky
Yeah,
Links.
it's like I was just say we say buy the DVD, support the show, buy the Blu-rays,
Buy the bootlegged DVDs that weird website we found us.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know them, but support them. They're doing the Lord's work.
Listen, if we buy enough bootleg DVDs, we're gonna get an official second season of Freaky Links. It's gonna happen. Okay, let's go.
Okay, Alice, give us the summary.
In this episode, the Freaklings crew goes to Arizona to investigate the videotape and find their beloved snuff website host, Biggs. The video which Biggs sent them had photos on it of a guy jumping off a really high bridge and walking away from it, which intrigued the Freaklings crew. As Jason and Derek arrive in Arizona, they go to the local coroner played by the reanimator himself, Jeffrey Combs. He tells them the person whose body was found under the bridge 2 days ago died of fear. Meanwhile, Chloe breaks into Brick's house where she finds an envelope with an address for Jason and Derek to check out. The address leads them to what seems to be a drug lab in a trailer where they promptly get ambushed by the adrenaline junkies from the videotape, and Derek gets abducted.
By means of car crash, Derek learns that they pumped themselves full of a mysterious liquid that lets them survive elsewise lethal damage to their bodies. After they torture Derek a bit with a tilt ball games for Big's life, they explain that they need to harvest the fear from humans to create the reanimator liquid. Meanwhile, Jason and Chloe and the cop have found their hideout and try to rescue Derek, but they also get captured. Derek acts like he's totally into this, but secretly smuggles a key to the hostages, which they use to escape later. Then Derek and the adrenaline junkies go to rob an armored car, but Derek replaced the reanimated juice with water. So later when they try to escape the cops by jumping off the bridge from the start, they instead jump to their deaths. The end.
Powerful ending to an episode.
Derek is now officially a murderer.
Of iconic TV murderer Derek.
Yes. He officially killed some people. He tried to not kill them. Okay, they kind of wrote it in a way where he didn't really kill them. But he kind of did.
Yeah, like I won't spoil this, but this ending is honestly very interesting because it's probably the show's darkest ending.
This is the darkest shit they ever do.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna talk about it. I guess I just started like our first impressions of this episode. Of course, do you want to go first, or I go first?
Yeah, I can talk. You mean when we first watched this? Before the podcast, or what?
No, I just meant
what we felt.
Our thoughts of this episode.
Okay. I mean, I like this episode for a big chunk. Like, it does a lot of things better than a lot of the other episodes. Like the pacing and like the tension build. Like it's probably one of the more tense episodes of this show. And it's very interesting in many ways because it's so different than a lot of the other episodes. Like, We have a guest star, which is kind of rare for this show.
Yeah.
With Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah,
He doesn't do that much. I misremembered. I thought at the end it would turn out that he did the whole reanimated fluid thing. But the real reason we got I have a sentence written down here because it's not in the recap because it's too wild. But I have a sentence here that's incredible. Soviet-made reanimator juice made of fear.
Yeah, I forgot they're like Soviets.
So they get it from a scary Russian dealer, and he got it from like Russian experiments to like create super soldiers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so that's your freaky link shit. Like that's amazing. I didn't remember that, and it's actually kind of incredible.
It's
just because it's so wild.
It's great.
But yeah, I was pretty entertained. So, what are your impressions?
This is interesting because when I don't know what, I don't remember this, but I remember when I first watched this episode, I was kind of down on it. But you watching it, this might be one of my favorite like top 3 episodes, right? Probably now. It's genuinely like incredibly like tense. It has like tense and like. Most of Wikileaks doesn't have like for a horror series. It's not that scary or frightful. Like doesn't have a lot of tension. But this is often scary, but also very like darkly comic at times. It keeps you on your feet. Often.
Yeah.
Like the parts where Dalek is kidnapped by the evil Soviet Adrenaline Junkie people. They are often genuine stats where you actually care about what's gonna happen to Dalek, but there's a lot of also like funny interactions that are just like incredibly like darkly comic in those scenes.
Yeah. There's some good dark comedy. Like you can tell that they either they already knew they would get Jeffrey Combs, so they kind of made the episode have a lot of dark humor because of Reanimator. Or they started out with the thought of doing like a very darkly humorous, almost homage to Reanimator.
Yeah, Also, I will say this is probably one of the better shot episodes of Freaky Link. Like, there's some actually.
Oh yeah, there's some wild shit going on with the like editing. Like wow, there's some like extremely fast transitions and like zoom outs and all that stuff.
Yeah, in the factory or like lab where the villains of this episode are, it actually like has a very good like how it's shot, even in like barely bad like recorded on like a TV thing that we watch this episode in. It has an honestly pretty good like grungy kind of industrial feel to it.
Yeah, this is one of the only episodes where I felt like I wanna actually see a good quality version of this episode, just so I can really appreciate what they are doing here with the cinematography.
Once again, we have to pray for our fallen heroes, the other channel that was uploading Freaky Links, but got taken down because they recorded after the commercials along with the Freaky Links, so copyright bots got them.
They should have just cut out the commercials. We gotta contact them and tell them. Yeah. Take out the commercials. They don't care about Freaky Links. We are the only ones.
Bring back a good quality Freaky Links. It's gonna happen with you.
Freaky Links 2022.
But yeah, I think this is it. I genuinely love this episode. The stuff like they actually do very good like character work, like the mega monsters of this episode, like Derek's like kind of relationship with the woman one is kind of honestly moving, well, not like moving, but actually got me invested in that.
Yeah, it's actually not that badly written until the end, where like she actually has no reason to also jump.
Listen, there's a reason. It's called they cannot bring back these cattle ever, so just kill them off.
Yeah, they just kill her off because of utilitarian plot reasons. That's the only reason she died.
Yeah, they cannot.
It's probably the weakest part of this plot, of this script.
Yeah, the ending just goes like, this is a very like dark, intense episode, but the ending feels honestly unnecessary.
Yeah, and also abrupt. It just ends after that.
Yeah, they don't even get like Derek's big emotions. We just get, wow, people died.
They're dead.
I'm sad.
Yeah, it's kind of savage in a way. It's like, yeah, you saw it. The end. Goodbye.
Like if this was like an X-Files episode or something, like I could like take this ending, but this is Freaky Links. This is the show that has the desert.
The skunk ape.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We should probably bring this up. So technically, this is not. So because of so the Luna, explain what happened.
Okay, so I think we mentioned this in the podcast episode before. There's two different orders in which the episode can be viewed, and one is like the real one, and it's not the one on Wikipedia. So we are actually reviewing them in order of Wikipedia order. But the thing is, that's actually not the order of airing or the order of which they should have been aired.
Yeah.
Like, because at the end of this episode, they show a preview for the next episode, and it's the cop episode.
Yeah. So I'm.
Also, they mention the plot of the next episode of the Wikipedia line, which is the Skunk Ape episode. They in detail describe that episode in this one, so we know that like in the diegesis of the plot, this is actually after the episode we will review next. But we keep to the Wikipedia schedule just to like not confuse people who aren't like super deep into Freaky Link lore.
Yeah, who do not follow this
because like if you haven't like investigated this shit, you would have probably not realized it.
Listen, the first time. Listen, the thing is, while I was watching this with my group of friends, with me, Lou, and a couple of the people we watched this with, I actually had to look up on like Google Books to find like an obscure listing of the episodes to say. To find out that yes, the person who uploaded on YouTube has the correct author. This is like incredibly obscure, so we have to actually dig to see which one is the correct author. But yeah, we also just decided to do this episode instead of the canonical order episode, just because this is the more darker episode, and we're gonna either want to just preserve the Amazing Skunk Ape episode for next time because it's gonna be a trip.
This episode is funny in parts, but it's also pretty damn dark, and it fits into the like edgy arc that we had with like the Stone Room before this and the episode before Stone Room.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting fit because this is, I guess, part of what we call the good part of Freaky Links, because there's the first couple episodes that are good. Then we have this slump in the middle, and then this episode of the Skunk Ape episode brings that to a much more like. These last couple episodes are really good, and this episode, along with those episodes, just has it knows the thing that they really improved on is they really know now how to use their tone correctly. Like it's just not just like boring like 2000s X-Files clone episodes. It still has this sense of humor, but also it can be quite dark and quite dark and funny at the same time.
Yeah, they definitely found their groove here. I know there are like one or two scenes where like the direction or something are like slightly off or the editing is off, but like they don't really damage the like overall story and like the experience too much.
Yeah.
And it's really way more intense than other episodes, and still keeping the spirit of the old ones with it.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes from the episode is when the snuff site guy is being basically tortured by the other lines zonkies.
Yeah. That's actually like a funny, ironic scene.
Yeah. It's both incredibly fucked up and very funny.
They kind of start doing stuff here to like have setups and payoffs for specific characters, like for the snuff guy. And then we have the let's get to it. The, let's say, non-consensual kiss between Chloe and Derek, and Derek gives her a key that way.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that when we first watched this. Like, I only noticed this scene on rewatch. It's pretty short.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. Like, it just sucks. It's very
Yeah, it sucks. Like, we get it. Derek is like playing Joker fights to like tell the adrenaline junkies that he's one of them now. But it's still like, first off, we have this like complicated relationship between Chloe and him, and then we have just non-consensual kiss.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a yikes moment there.
Well, just to.
But I also found it like, I guess it's an interesting reveal. I didn't remember the key thing at all.
Just to like remove a couple like small things so we can go to the main point and other stuff. What's your thought on the snuff, on the return of iconic snuff website host BX, iconic character?
I didn't even remember that he was coming back this episode.
Yeah, he's okay, I guess. In the episode I can't remember the first episode we saw him, but he was just a snuff film guy.
I was actually pretty sure they would kill him off, but they didn't.
Yeah, that's for Free Killing Season 2. He was gonna join the team.
He like finds out something he shouldn't about like the people who did the Desert Squid, and then like he gets killed.
Yeah, he's fine in this episode, honestly, but he's just kind of there. I guess they needed to like. They just thought of bringing him back because he was technically a character before.
Yeah. So there's something I want to talk about.
Yeah, go.
It's like I felt some like inspirations besides the obvious Reanimator stuff.
Yeah.
And the first one is Natural Born Killers.
Yeah.
Because these are like, at the first start it's 3 white trash people, and then it's 2 white trash people, a couple, and they're just going like completely. They're running amok, basically. And it's very, it feels very Natural Born Killers at points. Also a bit House of Thousand Corpses, like the girl. Sometimes I feel like you could insert Cherry Moon Zombie in her role and it would like work out perfectly.
Yeah. I think these. I was starting to think of like what this episode is kind of inspired by. When not thinking it makes sense of like that. I don't know if there's a specific genre for it, but there's definitely been like in horror. There's definitely like a subgenre of like 2 like white trash people, normally from the south, kidnap a bunch of people for torture and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the Texas Chainsaw like stuff. And this is in this actually this place that's mentioned at the start, that Dead Mule Gulch, is real and in Colorado.
It's not in Arizona. Well,
no, it's not Arizona, I think.
Yeah, Arizona, Colorado, my favorite state of America.
But yeah, this is like the deep south, so it makes sense that they would like have like trailer park people.
Yeah.
The other big inspiration, I think, is Crash.
Yeah.
But not the bad Crash.
The good one.
The good one. I haven't seen it yet, but I know about the teams. And like there is a scene where it's like pretty explicit that both of the adrenaline junkies get like an almost sexual kick out of these car crashes.
Yeah, I was gonna actually mention Crash. I think, like, I cannot tell if this was inspired by that, but you can really notice like just that, and there's both have a team of like heroes people using vehicles as a way to get emotional, like getting off of this thing.
Yeah. They use the fear to make their juice, but they also enjoy like inflicting fear on people and like making themselves afraid, like the whole adrenaline junkie aspect of it.
Yeah, I think that makes me think about this more. I found it about this. This is actually a fun fact. The director of this episode, he's like a TV episode director, of course, but he's actually like his brother is a NASCAR driver. His father was a NASCAR driver and stuntman. He was a stuntman also, the director, and also he's the grandson of Paul Newman, famous like race car driver and also Hollywood actor. And like
Yeah.
and the stunt aspect of that can be makes me think, because of course like I think with stunt people.
Yeah, because there is a lot of stunts in this episode.
Yeah.
Like there are car stunts. There's the stunts where they like jump off the bridge and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes the episode make more sense in hindsight why the things are there and why they were worked into the script that way, and it all kind of checks out. It's weird. You wouldn't think that like a reanimator pastiche that also has like a stunt driver aspect to it and extremely dark would like check out, like would work.
Yeah, but then you look at the bias contexts and the bias like backstories and stuff like in backgrounds and stuff like that. It actually makes sense perfectly and makes sense. Before we go into the animated thing, I just want to say on the stunt thing, this episode has some very good like stunt work and stuff like that. And that's not like just action; it's a very actiony episode actually.
Yeah, there's explosions, there's car crashes, there's basically a standoff at the end with police. There's a lot of like action-heavy stuff going on for this show, especially.
Yeah, and for like an early 2000s like Fox show, it's actually pretty good, honestly, for like an episode of this. So it's
this episode. I want to say this in a specific context, also, but in general, this episode feels almost like ahead of its time in terms of like how it's structured as a show. Like this reminds me of the structure of post 9/11 television, where like tension is built throughout the episode, and you have an escalation that totally makes sense at the end, and that is pretty dramatic.
So you are saying that 24 and Freaky Links are the same show?
No, I'm making an even bigger jump and saying this episode foresaw Saw.
Wow.
Like, because the whole torture sequence is so reminiscent of Saw, but happened 3 years before Saw came out.
Yeah, that's an interesting angle, because like horror as well has like, there's a lot of movies even before Saw that are very much a person getting taught by another person.
Yeah, but making a game out of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They make a game out of it. He has to play the tilt ball game, or the other person dies.
Well, Ludo, have you heard of the Zokel? That's well, the Zokel, iconic clown.
Yeah, I'm not saying the idea or something came from here. That's not what I mean. I know 70s exploitation had their like torture stuff and all that. And before that, the noir movies probably had some torture in there. But what I mean is that this foresaw like this way of horror where it becomes popular again to like mix this metal heavy soundtrack with like these bleak factory environments and like people getting half naked being tortured.
Yeah, this basically foresaw Hostel.
Yeah, that too.
Oh, it even has Eastern European people. I guess that counts.
Yeah, it even has Russians. Maybe Eli Roth watched this and like because he has no real ideas.
Won't actually stop.
He smoked a big blunt and then he wrote the script.
But let's go to the reanimated part of this. Of course, I'm gonna just for the introduction to reanimated, I'm gonna go to local Lovecraft expert Ludovico.
Yeah, so on rewatch, I can tell you with absolute certainty, there is no nod to Lovecraft in this episode. Not a single one.
Wow.
Like, I think they shot their shot with the Heartbringer episode. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure they know that this is all inspired by Lovecraft, but like, there's no Lovecraftian aspects to this story.
Yeah, I guess.
Except for like them being undead. But the reason for that is purely it's not supernatural. Like there's a supernatural element to the reanimator stuff. Like that that's more clear in the story, where they're like explain that it kind of that the problem is that the soul doesn't stay in the body at the end, and that's what makes the like reanimated people weird. But here, the reanimated juice actually is no problem because Derek dies and gets reanimated after getting shot, and he's fine. His soul is good.
Yeah,
So this basically uses it more as a reference than like being the same thing or having the same logic than in the movie or the story.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know what reanimator is, what's a reanimator?
So it's a story about a scientist and he tries to find a cure for death, and then he gets to do it and he gets to reanimate somebody and it goes very wrong. So that's about the story.
Yeah, I guess the part where it actually matters is the movie Reanimator was 70s, right? I'm not confusing it.
Yeah, it's basically the same story. It just has some additional twists in there.
Yeah, it's the story, but they added extra stuff. Of course, they removed some racism because Lovecraft.
Yeah, they added some sexual assault.
Yeah.
To like balance that. You can't remove too much bad stuff without like adding new bad stuff.
Yeah, you got to remove the bad. You got to balance the bad with more bad. That's how you do it.
Yeah, that's how writing works.
Yeah.
Don't you know? Haven't you ever read Stephen King?
Oh god, but yeah, the Reanimator movie, it's pretty okay. It became like a bit like cult movie thing. It got 3 sequels, 3 or 4, including a last one.
And it's basically the reason Jeffrey Combs is like popular in the public eye still, or like popular in terms of like movie geeks.
Yes, Jeffrey Combs' like portrayal of Herbert West is along with the Reanimator the movie itself being like a big cult movie. His role as Herbert West is pretty iconic. I haven't watched the movie in a while, but it's honestly a pretty good like portrayal of Herbert West as like this kind of like detached kind of side person who's also very like evil, I guess is the
arrogant.
Yeah, arrogant.
Yeah. No, his acting there is incredible.
Yeah, it's very good. Like this is why Jeffrey Combs is an actually pretty okay actor. But like you notice, like every time Jeffrey Combs is casted in a thing, is either Reanimator homages, one-shot villains that mostly Reanimator homages, or some like Marvel or comic stuff you do sometimes.
Yeah. And I think he's kind of sick of it already by the point of like where this was shot.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel like he does like the 100%.
I think I still like you can notice that probably they did not have a lot of time with him because he's here in it for like a very small role. But
yeah,
he's still very fun. He has some fun lines.
I mean, yeah, his lines are funny and he delivers them well. It's just he doesn't have that energy he had in Reanimator.
Yeah, he was probably told, okay, not Reanimator almost. Time to put.
Yeah, I think he was probably bored by it by this point.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the line. Like I think like there, like and Jason might be wrong. And just go and say, hey, we need your work to notice why this person died. And he's like, oh, you need me? Thank you. I did not know you needed my work. That's just a great line.
Yeah. I think my favorite line in the whole episode is from him, where he says, "Oh, I don't help people. I just find out why they die." It's incredible.
Like the thing is, the Reanimator. It's a weird thing with this episode. Is kind of an homage to Reanimator, but not really. And it's and his cameo in this episode's a bit weird, but it works. It's a very fun. It has some of the most funniest moments of the episode, and for a very few screen time, he does a bit with his role. It's very entertaining.
Yeah, and from a writing standpoint, it also works as a red herring, because I remember the first time when I watched the episode, I was so certain that he would be behind the reanimator fluid, but he wasn't. And like, if you know Jeffrey Combs, you will automatically think he's the villain in this one.
Yeah, it has a very funny moment. I guess it's because acknowledging that they had very few time with him, where he goes, okay, I know what's happening. I'm gonna call the police, and I think Lauren Jason go, what? You're just gonna call the police and not gonna help us? And it's like, my job is not to help people. It's to determine how they died.
Yeah, that's the line I said before.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't help people. I just find out how they died.
Yeah, very very good line. Also going into the animated, so we animated got like 4 movies. One of them was sold in the Sci-Fi Channel, and we're gonna for anybody hearing the intro to this episode this time. Let me introduce you all. This thing is the iconic song from the Reanimated movie that sold in the Sci-Fi Channel rounds. It's called Doctor Reanimator Death Bonus movie.
It's probably gonna be slightly slowed down. So check out the original on YouTube.
This is if you like Yellow Dance, Reanimator, and low.
Yeah, this is the song for you.
Yeah, this is for you. This is this is good. It's great because for some reason this was on the DVD for this last Reanimator movie because I guess they needed to promote it somewhere and they just made certain Yellow Dance music.
I really wonder if there's a person out there where that is really the thing they were looking for, and like it's for them. It's specifically made for them.
Yeah, that wasn't just static. It's Reanimator and Yellow Dance and nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Jeffrey Combs' world is very interesting. It does tie into the zoo stuff. That's interesting because he's not really tied to the actual plot or the actual zoo stuff, but it's a fun connection.
Yeah, I mean, there's like multiple side characters that are like very loosely tied to the plot. Mm-hmm. Like there's also the cop character that basically does almost nothing.
Yeah. That's just Freaky Links how the show works at this point.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a very fun cameo. It's part of this episode because, like I said, it can be incredibly like funny and also incredibly tense, and it never feels like it's having a. Like I said, this is why I think the show is now, with this last couple of episodes, the show really has improved in that it knows how to use its tone well. It never have like a weird whiplash.
I mean, it will change dramatically towards the end, but like in a good way.
Yeah.
When it like finds its final phase and goes like end of Freaky Links on us.
Yeah. Yeah, but like when it's having a weird whiplash, it feels in control of itself, and that's just you don't,
yeah.
You don't have weird things. There's no weirdly racist ghosts, no Filipino vampires. They're all gone now.
Yeah, basically we're through the rough patch. This is like, from this point onwards, this is the most interesting shit that Freaky Links can deliver. Like, from all the last episodes, this one is probably the least interesting, and it's still like very fascinating.
It's very interesting. I guess a question, just a couple of the things before we go to music on and everything. Besides like Reanimator and like things you mentioned, do you see any like other aesthetic influences in this episode, Ludo? Anything else?
Aesthetic.
Like maybe.
Like I said, there's some stuff that reminds me of Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, no. I said like besides that stuff you mentioned already.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there's a general like Americana, local colors. Like inspiration here, but most Freaky Links episodes have that, where they like visit different states.
Mm-hmm.
and it always has like the local atmosphere and all that.
Yeah, I guess the thing with like Freaky Links, we talked about it before. It's not like it's not like a regular part of the show, but it's a thing we talk about. We often try to place this show in the era it was made, which was like the early 2000s, where it did not really have a 2000s culture really. It's like, can you see a connection between this show being an early 2000s show and any of the things this episode is doing?
I mean, Music Corner is gonna play a big role in that.
Yeah, but besides Music Corner, we're gonna have a time with Music Corner.
Yeah. But also, I guess the whole adrenaline junkie part. Like, these are young people, and they don't have a lot of money, so they basically decide to go on these wild, like, adrenaline-seeking rushes.
And looking at, I forgot about the director in this also had a connection to extreme sports, and you can probably tie this to like, extreme sports of the era, X Games,
Like,
etc.
was he also the writer?
No, I think he was only the director.
Because like whoever wrote this like understood like that adrenaline can work like a drug, and like it's almost like the reanimator fluids that they also get addicted to is like a metaphor. Like they're not really addicted to the juice; they're addicted to like being immortal.
Yeah, an addiction to life, to just being there.
Yeah, to being able to do what you want.
Yeah,
like freedom.
Like I said, I think you can actually like tie this to like extreme sports stuff of the era. This was like when the X Games were getting big, etc.
Yeah. Skateboarding was big. BMX.
Yeah.
Rally had its golden day.
No, that was
the last time people cared.
That was Group 3 while though. That was the really adrenaline junkie era.
Right. More people die, so it's better.
But yeah, before we go to music,
extreme sports are good when many people die.
Wait, is one extreme sports? Let's not get into the discourse.
It is kinda.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
It was marketed as like an extreme sport in the 90s.
Yeah, interesting. But yeah, before we go to music, anything else? Any other thoughts? Any other things?
Oh right. They wrote the character out. They wrote Lan out of this show. Of this episode. She's not in here.
Oh yeah, well, I forgot to talk about Lan. I guess we did not talk about the cast of this episode that much, but
she's not here.
Yeah, Lan's not here. We talk about this. The way like Lan is treated is like the worst the show ever treated characters. Especially even more because like she's like the only black woman character in the show.
She doesn't even get mentioned or anything.
Yeah, there's not even like an excuse or anything. She's just not in the episode. And just...
I don't remember if she's in the last two at all.
I think she might be in the last one. I have actually. Is she in Skunk Ape?
I think she's in Skunk Ape because that's actually before this one.
Yeah, I know they mentioned that, but I'll have to look. But yeah, I think it just shows how the show treats Lan as a character. Like she's not even here, and it's weird because she could be a part of the episode a lot. But I guess the directors have said, yeah, she's not here.
So yeah, that's something I just wanted to drop.
Okay, I guess we're asking, how do you thought of the characters this episode? Very quickly, like what to watch for like the other one.
I mean, it's interesting seeing Derek like getting into something he can't handle at all again, but this time like it has like actual consequences for him.
Yeah.
Like he's basically in a like kind of RPG situation where he has to choose, and each of the choices he's gonna make is gonna get people killed. He has a trolley wagon problem because like if he replaces the reanimated fluid with water, they die. If he doesn't replace the reanimated fluid, they probably gonna kill a bunch of people.
Yeah, it's like this. Derek in this episode is very interesting because he is at his most vulnerable, and there's there's parts of like compassion for like the speed junkies people.
Yeah, and like he's also trying to save the life of the snuff movie guy he doesn't really like.
Yeah, it's probably Derek at its most human, and it's interesting to see him at its most vulnerable. And like, hey, maybe I need to actually do something. I need a way people gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would have been interesting to see him like grow from that. They didn't really have the time for that because they do other interesting stuff in the other episodes. But like in this imaginary season 2, like that we often talk about, it would have been cool to like have him deal with that.
Okay, Jason and Chloe, one word. Is
They're here.
yeah, they just exist in this episode.
They just it's like they decided, okay, Chloe probably got a lot of thing in the Skunk Ape episode, and Jason got his episode in the Stone Room, so they're just gonna be like Digimon side characters. Like they're gonna watch as Derek does the cool digitized stuff and fights.
Yeah, Derek transforms into the bike or the devil this morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess there's just kind of there. This is more like a Derek focus episode. But yeah, let's go to everybody's favorite corner, where we talk about the fact that this show is also, besides being a weird marketing for digital marketing and everything, there's also musical marketing. So let's talk about the musical corner, where we talk about all this all of the bands the show promotes. First, I like to yeah.
Jump the fuck up!
Yeah, but before we go to Jump the Fuck Up and other classics, I might as well actually just mention this is actually like an actual music critique. The music in this episode actually fits a lot because it has like this grimy industrial aesthetic, this like kind of hard aesthetic, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Is it the
like metal and rock.
It really fits this episode. It makes it barely dated, but in a way that is okay.
That is very like, no, I found that super appealing.
Yeah.
Like on second watch, like the way they use fucking Jump the Fuck Up, it's kind of like it's almost like a different song, mostly because they cut out all the fucks, which are many. But also like they used like the ambient parts to build up tension, and then they have to drop happen at like a tense moment. Like it's well used, the music in this episode.
Okay, let's go. First, we're gonna go to the least known band, A Man is a hardcore punk band from Los Angeles. They have a song in this episode. They combine.
I wonder if they have aim breaks.
No, they're like I guess they're like a hardcore punk band that has like metal-y elements, not metalcore, but they
I assume their song is the one that plays at the start of the episode when Biggs like talks with Derek over the phone.
I think it might be that. Yeah, they're like just one of the like bands from like the 90s, like punk where you're just like a bunch of neo-punk bands showing up. They released overall 4 albums. The last one in 2004. The last one is called Death for Music. They toured with some big bands. Their producer is really tied to this because the producer for the first album worked with like all the icons: Slipknot, Corey Taylor, Tech Nine, all your favorites.
Yeah.
The guitarists of System of a Down work with them.
Oh, nice.
They toured a lot of people. Still alive. I think they recorded a couple songs in 2015 with the drummer from Slayer.
Huh.
And they also did a thing with the drummer from Stone Sour.
Okay, so they're still active, just not as that band anymore, I guess.
Yeah. The song that plays from them is okay.
Yeah.
Let's now go to probably the second biggest known band in this episode, Fear Factory.
Hell yeah, from one of their best albums.
Yeah, this was it from like the very good one?
Yeah, I think...
was it The Manufacturer?
I think it was Manufacture.
The Manufacturer, actually.
Okay. Yeah, I mixed those up.
Which was second album. But yeah, Fear Factory, they're pretty big known in metal. Started in the the late 80s, in 89. But really started in the 90s. I guess they're like industrial metal, but like their early stuff has a lot of death metal influences. And also, their second album is very groovy and like kind of thrashy.
Yeah, but they are often like cited as bringing industrial elements to metal.
Yeah, they're like one of the big first industrial metal bands. You can probably put them in like Ministry and Godflesh.
Yeah.
I
mean they're pretty good, and the song fits well.
Yeah, the second album they manufactured is really solid. They have some very good songs. They are a very influential band. Still Tool, of course, have one of their
the rare Freaky Links group that's still alive and well.
Yeah, one of their founders is actually like if I remember well is like a Mexican American person and that's pretty big. Who he's also in the guitarist. He's also in a very good band called Busalia, which is like a Mexican grindcore band.
Oh yeah, Brujera.
They're very cool. I recommend checking them out. It's just a side recommendation.
Yeah, they're cool. But they're really cool.
But they're very like a cute, like Mexican American, like leftist grindcore band. It's very nice. But important band, of course. Their sound, of course, fits in this episode very well because, like, the industrial aesthetic, of course, very impressive. Did you ever see Fear Factory live? No.
Sadly, not. That's one of those I can't. I also haven't seen Brujera.
Well, but yeah.
Sadly, I have seen the other person two of the other persons.
Okay, before we go to that, apparently Fear Factory, I haven't been following. I know that there was a lawsuit in 2006, like 2019. They've been inactive sometimes, and apparently now only their guitarist is in the band because of a split since last year, and they are getting a new vocalist.
Okay, so they're not really together anymore.
Yeah, they're like this together in the same way that like those two versions of the band Yes that both claim to be the real Yes. Yes. but yeah, let's go to the main dish. Soulfly.
Featuring Corey Taylor.
Okay, I'm just gonna go, Ludo. Explain to us first what Sepultura is, and then Soulfly.
So there was like pretty rad thrash metal band called Sepultura, and they're from Brazil. And they made like pretty good music, often also with like pretty political messages. Of like rather leftist nature, but then they got older and like Max Cavalera had like beef with his brother or shit, so he left the band. Then he made his new project Soulfly, and that one's basically just him going full new metal, but also like fusing the Sepultura sound with other stuff basically.
Yeah, Sepultura.
And that's how we get to Jump the Fuck Up.
Some extra stuff. Sepultura, influential band in metal. Metal boomers often like to claim they invented every genre. It's very funny, but there's an influential. There's a connection between like Soulfly and even the last Sepultura album Max did was Woods. That was often it's often claimed to be like the first new metal album. It's not, but it's influential. It has like Korn. It has like different types of Korn.
It has a bunch of like polyrhythmics.
Yeah,
you can find in certain new metal bands.
It has not a new metal album. It has a lot of like Brazilian indigenous like folk music in this. It's very groovy. It's very interesting, and you can see that in Soulfly in the first couple of albums. There's the groove, the inspiration from like indigenous folk music in Brazil, etc. But also they had the album that was very new metal that has Time to Go with iconic music, Corey Taylor, the Slipknot guy.
Yeah.
So Corey Taylor, he's the lead guy from Slipknot, everybody's favorite new metal band, and he's also like probably one of the most, even for new metal. Here's the thing: every time you Google Corey Taylor's name, literally every month, every week, he's in a metal website is reporting about some like bad thing he'd said. It goes.
He's basically known. He knows how to like manipulate the algorithm and stay relevant by just talking shit.
Yeah, but that's he's just like an asshole. Because just talks.
Yeah. He's totally an asshole, but he's a grifter basically at this point.
Yeah,
he knows how to stay relevant by saying shitty stuff.
Yeah, he said such beautiful things as the teens are cussing Eminem, complaining about there's been no real WAP, entering. I'm gonna send Luther a thing. He first this year he made his first real WAP song. As a
no, I already listened to it.
No, this is a different one. The Moon
No,
song.
come on. I don't want to listen to it.
Yeah.
No, you showed me this.
Yeah.
You showed me this. You're tricking me. You're just tricking me.
Yeah, tricking you. He made his first WAP song with the country WAP group, the Moonshine Bandits, and do you ever want to see like this is quite a WAPing? That's not. He's not even trying to be Eminem. He's just.
He's just rapping very badly.
Yeah.
Like, go listen to it if you dare. But like, wow, your respect for Corey Taylor will not grow.
Yeah, but he thought. Corey Taylor, known asshole, has very angry dead energy. So here comes.
But don't worry. Max Cavalera is also an asshole, so they fit perfectly on this.
Yeah, so because of that, we have the duel of icons in the This is ever since I found out about this song because of this episode, I think I came to the take that this is like the most new metal song that ever existed.
Yeah, this is the peak.
Yeah, it's
this is basically the peak of new metal.
Yeah, it's like let's just go to paths, I guess. It's like just don't shut the. What's the
like we could make an entire episode just analyzing the shit that goes on in this fucking song.
What's like the
because
of this
is kind of Corey Taylor's best song in my opinion.
Yeah.
But it's also the most new metal song ever made.
Yeah, it's shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
There's a lot of jumping the fuck up because that's what you did at concerts at the time. You just jumped a lot.
Yeah. And it's like it slaps. Like the song is not bad or anything. It's actually
it's a real banger.
Yeah, it's a real banger. It just has the end. It's like this is like 2000s energy. Like it's just in a Slipknot concert with all your 2000s bodies. Just
it's just very pissed off and Corey Taylor raps about shit and it sounds halfway decent because he does like the tense voice that makes it sound okay. And Max Cavalera talks about walking through the streets and seeing all this shit.
Yeah, it's
and don't fuck with him. Like that, it's hilarious and genius.
Yeah, it's great. It just has the most.
It's two people in their 30s acting like they're extremely gangster.
Yeah, it's like two people that even for the time will almost be having that energy.
I don't know if Corey Taylor actually was 30 at that time.
Yeah, but
I have to check it out now.
But it's just like two people that were gonna become basically angry dads in a couple of years, just now going, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's like,
this is like this is their last hooray before they become like dads. It's like their last moment of youth.
And it's just beautiful. It has just like it's a genuine fun song. It's
okay. He wasn't 30 at the point. I just wanted to know.
Yeah, it's any slaps and everything, but it's just you can tell this is like the most two angry dudes just being two angry dudes and telling how tough they are. It feels like
and how fucked up everything is. So the solution, as new metal has stated, is to just jump the fuck up.
Yeah, yes, we're gonna
just jump around.
Yeah,
around, get down.
No, that's Quest Course.
Yeah.
Some
Well, it's the same concept.
Yeah, like some new metal stuff from Chris Course. That's my hot take YouTube video essay. So let's do that. Okay.
So yeah, this is like, go listen to this song if you like new metal.
Yeah, if you like new metal and 2000s angry people, this is
You're gonna like this one. I tell you.
Before we end this, I would like to tell you, I told you about this before, but I like to tell everybody about my favorite Slipknot conspiracy theory.
Oh yes, give it to us.
This is from the I think it's from like the Slipknot somewhere, but like there's some Reddit conspiracy theory that's like, Slipknot uses masks, right? Masks. So because of that, actually, Tupac is a member of Slipknot and Dave Grohl, because actually the people on Slipknot, while you're watching them live on the concert, are not the people from the studio recording. It's actually Slipknot and Dave Grohl and Biggie. And
Then we
Tupac,
got tricked. We all got tricked, and there's totally a reason or sense to that.
Yeah, that's why you just see it.
Like sometimes people just do like year-long schemes with like faking their deaths, just because they really wanted to like fuck with you. They just wanted to fuck with everybody. That was the only reason they did it.
Yeah, just like a long, like focus twig.
It's basically the longest YouTube prank video you ever saw.
Yeah,
it just goes on for decades.
Yes, and you see the genius detectives of Reddit know how suits work. You don't have to make suits for specific bodies or like types. Anybody can just wear the suit.
Look, they're basically like skins in Fortnite. You just put them on. That's how it works.
Yeah, this is great. There's not to extend this, but there's also a similar theory that the guy in Ghost, because he uses also a costume. Actually, that's either Dave Grohl or Tupac.
He's just He's just wearing makeup. What the fuck?
That's Dave Grohl.
That's not the same as having like a complete disguise. What is this Superman logic?
Oh god!
Y'all need to stop reading these comic books. It's giving you bad ideas about how reality works.
This was the perfect way to end this episode. Thanks everybody who listens and supports. Also, you can follow me at Twitter at Alice1. I stream at Twitter, Alice1 there. You do them?
If you got to this point, you're like morally obligated to give Alice money. That's my shout out today.
Yeah,
so see y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
We could use your help.
Oh, I don't help people. I only figure out how they died.